Hi, this is Harold Ross. Thanks for joining me. In this video, I'm editing a very complex image, and to make the video at a reasonable length, I've sped it up tremendously. It actually took me about 90 minutes to edit this image. The editing workflow is made quite a bit easier and faster through my Photoshop plugin panel, which is not visible in this video. Not only does the panel make things easier and faster, but it also keeps us on track in a proper workflow. You may know that I believe that lighting is one of the most important aspects of photographic imagery. Except for content and editing, I believe that lighting is probably the most important aspect. Proper lighting can bring a tremendous amount of detail and dimension to our images, and light painting allows us to do that at a very high level. Editing, however, may be just as important, if not more important, than lighting. And we can use editing in a painterly or sculptural way to enhance what I call my 3Ds: depth, dimension, and detail. I refer to my masking techniques as sculptural masking, and if we apply paint properly to the mask, we can not only enhance shape, but we can actually create shape where there isn't any. This to me is very much like what a sculptor does. In this very complex image, I'm bringing in each individual element of the image, which was shot in separate captures. And then I'm masking in each capture, keeping in mind that I want to enhance the sculptural form of each element in the image. I teach my students how to create masks that have beautiful, soft gradients. The quality of these gradients determines the beauty and drama of each element in the image. The placement of highlights is incredibly important to help get across to the viewer where the light is coming from. But often we cannot light from exactly the point of light that we wish to light from. So in masking, we can help correct that or modify that if we weren't able to light from exactly the proper angle. One of the more important concepts that I use in my work when I'm editing is to remember that in general, light things tend to come forward and dark things recede. I use that principle constantly when I'm editing an image. This concept helps us create a tremendous amount of depth in the image. In general, I work out the main shapes and drama of the image, then I'll go in and fine-tune the relative brightnesses. Again, I can't overemphasize the importance of creating smooth gradients in the mask. One of the things I absolutely love about this process is the ability to render beautiful features of the subject. Sometimes I make the joke that it's art for people with no talent. All of these features are beautifully rendered by a light that is skimming across the surface. Light from the camera point of view is actually very flat and doesn't render detail at all. But when we skim the light from an acute angle, we get a tremendous amount of texture and detail. And then in masking, we capitalize on that detail by rendering it in a very three-dimensional way. I also teach my students a lot about grouping and nested groups. Grouping is a very simple concept, but it gives us a tremendous amount of control. It also gives us organization. A layer stack, when not using grouping, can get a little confusing, but if we use grouping in a disciplined way, we can keep things very organized, which is quite important. My Photoshop plugin panel allows us to easily and quickly create groups in the proper blending mode with the click of a button. Here, we see me masking in reflective metallic elements, which were lit using a different light source than the non-reflective elements in this image. I believe that it's important to light each element with the appropriate light source for that element. That is mainly determined by the level of reflectivity of the element itself. And here I'm working with the background, masking it in for the effect that I'm looking for. These are all techniques that are taught in my online self-guided foundation course. And here is the final image. It did take some time, but personally, I'm willing to spend a tremendous amount of time on one image, and the process is really rewarding and rather fun. Thank you for watching. This is Harold Ross.